Hello everybody, it's Niklas and welcome to this new video on Spline. And in this video we are going to see how to work with the render. So it means how to work with the different parameters of the scene to create something interesting for the render, so we can manage the environment. If you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channels. First link on the description, the complete course Spline is available. So if you want to learn this software, starting from scratch with the course structure, it will be on the first link on the description. You will see the models, session of the course, what you will be able to learn in this training course. It is a complete course, a lot of hours of training content to perfectly master Spline for 3D modeling as well as 3D presentation. Second link on the description, the website in link with this YouTube channel. You can discover software in these YouTube channels and have different basics. And second link on the description, it is a summary of all the graphic courses available, and you can pick a course and learn any graphic software. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to turn a little bit on the view, and we are going to create something for our scene before to manage the environment on the right. So first I will click here, I will go just in the template, so thanks to that it will be pretty faster, and I will add something like a table. So maybe I can go on home here, and you have multiple type of elements that you can add. So I'm going to go on this area, let's just scroll down. And we're going to add just a simple element. So what I will add, I have different model of a table. Maybe we can use this one, for example, the table large, double click, and I can place my table just here. It's just a basic table with different cube. We have a group and different cube inside, and we have a materials here. Let's just place two elements on this table. I will click here and I will add another template. We will search something like, for example, cosmetic, and we will use maybe the shampoo bottle. So this one, double click, and I will place here, and I will define something like a cup also, maybe the tall cup, so double click as well. So every time we have groups, something that I will do it is to select the cup, and I will scale the cup just like this with shift to keep the proportion, and I will scale also these bottles. I will place the element directly, I will scale a little bit more, and I will place the element directly on the table. So how to do this? I will go on the right, and when nothing is selected, you have the environment parameters. The first thing that you can do in the global settings, you can, for example, snap to something, the grid, and you can snap to object. So I will select snap to object. So thanks to that, if, for example, I go on this view, I can select these bottles. And when I arrive to the table, as you can see, I can snap. I think it's still too big, so I will scale again. I will turn a little bit my view, and I will dragging and moving. And as you can see, we can snap to the table. I will do the same thing for the cup. I will click on this view, I will select the cup, I will scale a little bit, and when we arrive close to the table, we can snap because we apply the snapping options. And I will turn around, and I will move a little bit on this, I will move a little bit cup on this axis. So that's it. So after to do this type of work, we can maybe move a little bit more on this direction, this direction. So let's take a look. When you click outside, you can define the parameter of the environment on the right. The first thing that you can do, if you don't want the grid, for example, you can deactivate the view of the grid. In the global settings, you can click here and grid off. By default, we have this light. So this light is a directional light that we have by default, but by default we have also an environment light. When I come back on the right here, you can change the background's color, because before to do this, when I click on the preview option, we can see the render here. And when I go on the background's color, you can just apply any color on the backgrounds, as you can see. So for example, let's apply something maybe a little bit blue, and I will apply this background color just like that. So first things to do for the environment, define a background color. Here you have some light options, and by default we have ambient light. So if I deactivate the ambient light, I will have only the light of my directional light. So it means this one, and this one I can change the position, for example. And I can also, if I click on the light, have access to my options of this light, like the intensity and different type of other information. If I click outside, I come back to the environment parameters, and this one is just the ambient light that we have by default on the scene. So if I come back here, I can reactivate my ambient light. I can change also the color of the ambient light. When I continue, this one is just the intensity. So if it's too much, we can reduce, just like that. We have the shadow, so different type of shadows, normals and high slower, just a preview of the shadows that you have here. And generally, we can keep low faster. You will be able to add also some effect. If you click on effect just here, you can have different type of effect. For example, if you define brightness, you want to activate the brightness, you can click here and you can activate more brightness. And to set the option, you can define here. You can increase the brightness of your scene, and you can also increase the contrast of your scene as well. If, for example, I wanted to make an effect like something little bit different, I can go out here and you can select another one. I want, for example, bloom. I can activate bloom here, clicking here, and I can create a bloom effect. And you can have access to the options just on this area. It can be the intensity on the bloom effect, the blur scale. So this is the type of things that you can do. And if I just switch outside, you can also define the percentage value of your bloom effect, like this. So you can dragging and moving. You can also select a blend mode. You have different type of blend mode, and you can set the parameter of your environment. As you can see, it can be pretty convenient. You have multiple type of options. I'm not going to show you all the options, just to show you that you can add effect. If you want to deactivate the effect, you just click here and you can come back with your scene parameters. You can also add a fog, just like this, and you can also add the ambient shadows. So after to do this work, if for example you wanted to add a light, it's possible. So how to process? I will click on plus here and I can add a light. You have different options. I'm going to show you, for example, with a spotlight. I can click on the spotlight. My spotlight will appear on this direction. And as you can see, it's pretty big. So when I go on the right here, you can, for example, use a scale value. I will reduce with 0.2 and will activate the proportion. And I will click on 0.2 as well here. And thanks to that, I have my light on this area and I can maybe move on this direction. Oops, I think here we don't have, I will switch the proportion and make something not pretty convenient. Let's just apply 0.2 as well. So now I created a spot. So this spot, I can place the spot here and I can create some rotation. As you can see, the light will appear here. To really see this light, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the directional light. I can remove with delete. And to really see the light, I will go into my environment and the ambient light I will deactivate. No. So now something that we can do, it is to click on the spotlight. And now I have only my spotlight available. So here you can see the preview. I can place maybe around this area. I will switch on this direction, turn a little bit, and oops, yes. I will let's just press Ctrl Z. I will move a little bit on these directions and I will place my spotlights and I will turn. Sometimes it's not extremely convenient to turn like this. And I will place, yes, my spotlight like that. I will move a little bit on the right also. Perfect. And now after to do this work, when you click on the light, as you can see, you have the color that you can change. You can work with the intensity. And here I can see my table and my object thanks to the spotlight, as you can see. You can work also with a distance value, just like this. You can adjust with the angles. We can reduce or increase the angles, the edge blur as well, to create some better transition, and also the decay, just like this. Let's put a decay with a value of 1. If you don't want the shadow, you can deactivate, and as you can see, we don't have the shadow anymore on the object, so generally we keep this. And you can also add some blur value on this area. So definitely you have a lot of things Penumbra as well. You have a lot of things that you can do for the environment. Here, just few features, you can do a lot of more things. If I just click here, now you can see the table, and the table, not with the ambient light, the table is a spotlight. So here we can see the table, the cup, the shadows on the back for a simple reason that the light is on the front. And this is why we can create environment using different type of light. You can also place different lights if you need. If I don't want, for example, this one, I can just come back to the ambient light. So it means I can go outside, light, recuperate the ambient light. And if I select the spotlight, I can then delete the spotlight, and now we have only an ambient light. But generally, it's pretty good to activate a spotlight or a different type of light, because you have different type of option. Only the ambient light is not pretty convenient for something really interesting about the render. So we are going to stop here for this video. If you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. First link on the description. The complete course Spline 3D is available. So if you want to learn this software starting from scratch with a course structure, it will be on the first link on the description. You will see the models, session of the course, what you will be able to learn. It is a complete course, a lot of hours of training content to perfectly master Spline 3D. Second link on the description, the website linked with this YouTube channel. You can discover software in these YouTube channels, have basics and what are the different views. And second link on the description, it is like an online school. You can have access to a lot of graphic courses to learn any graphic softwares. Second link on the description. And for our next video on these channels, see you. Ciao, ciao.